the 40th Annual National Holiday Celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, he deserves applause. So I am your Mistress of Ceremonies today. And before we get started with the program, I do want to recognize this young man that's sitting at the table here. He did the most amazing poem at the birthday celebration this morning. I've been thinking about it all day. I am never going to forget that poem. It was so inspirational. I really appreciated hearing that. Thank you so much. I was definitely inspired by it. And I think everyone that was at Thompson Middle School this morning was equally as inspired. And I have worked in this community a long time. And to say that the fire in me has been ignited to do more. So if you volunteer an hour, volunteer 2 hours. If you donate $100, donate $101. We all have it in our capacity to be able to do more to advance lives in this community. So thank you very much again for that poem.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can you read it again?
Yes!
Hello, my name is Dylan Wiley. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. So this is a poem that I made about 2 years ago for Scholastic and Black History Month when I was in 11th grade. So I just want to see it. I call it "The Time Is Now." First, I'd like to say welcome all as we celebrate this day to commemorate and remember the great MLK. I like my poem, "The Time Is Now." My sisters, my brothers, who've been raised by great mothers, but let us not forget our fathers, who most certainly gotten us farthest, even when their struggle was most certainly the hardest. We welcome you, we cherish you, for you are here, so let me hear your cheer. The cheer of freedom is followed by a sound of an encore and a beating drum. For when they told our people's struggles, their success, what made them the best, they always asked how. And the answer is simple, because the time is now. No more shall we be bound by the chains of ridicule, treated like mules, caged in our town, just because we are a darker shade of brown. The time is now. No more shall we look at each other through black and white and see red, against those of our own brethren who have sorrowed, fought, and bled. The time is now. No more shall we wade in the water, for we will waltz right through, for we are stronger, like my father, and his father's father, and my grandfather's grandfather. The time is now. No more shall we walk into the mile in these worn shoes, only for them to see and not do, while Moses skipped over the sea and hopped too. The time is now. No more shall we beg, steal, borrow, and barter against those who are sure to turn us into martyrs and listen to them like we listen to Beyonce and Sean Carter. The time is now. No more shall we be strange fruit on the tree, for we are free. So off my lungs with your knee, because we are not George Floyd, because together we can breathe. The time is now. No more shall we sit in the wake of progress, stay where we're oppressed, break down from all the chaos and distress, shown front page on our news press. The time is now. No more shall we let our spirits be barren, for our Tuskegee Airmen broke through physical barriers, went through dangerous areas. How could our pride ever be lost when they carried us? The time is now. No more shall we lay down in green pastures where we become slaves of our own lives and listen to the new lies of our new masters. The time is now. No more shall we betray one another, our brothers, strike down each other, sadden our own mothers. Another shirt with another face, another one of our brothers. The time is now. No more shall we sit in silence in the wake of gun violence, the ache of gang violence. No, that will not define us, and that will not defile us. The time is now. No more shall we allow them to attack us, sacrifice us like we are Christmas actors. We got hired for we are fighters like the 369th Infantry Harlem Hellfighters. The time is now. No more shall we let them disgrace our black betterment, for they are here for our betterment. They are here to serve us just like the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry Regiment. The time is now. No more shall we follow their drinking gourd and drink their poison while they pour our freedoms. They will not heed us, sinking us with our lives, but oh Lord, we have tried, we have tried. The time is now. No more shall we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, for we fear no evil, for my people are with me. I neither no rod, nor thy staff, for you are the ones that comfort me. For your shoes shine bright, but let us not forget why they fought, right? Even when they were hosed and almost lost the fight, they fought, right? So that's why I love my melanin. Listen to them better than we ever did. Leaders like Benny Thompson or beautiful like the stallion that we call Megan. But there's more to see now and then. So Gordon Woodford, Ronald McNair, and Charles Bolden, they were astronomical, 10 out of 10. But remember the women, Maya Jemison, Joan Higginbottom, and Stephanie Wilson. Shocking progress like a lightning bolt, so I stay on track like Usain Bolt. Turning the tide and show us a guy like Simone Manuel. But to be a boss like Oprah, we do not need affirmative action to meet the quota. Like Aretha Franklin, we must demand our respect. We must fight hard like Malcolm X, for this is our ultimatum. This is not antebellum. You cannot threaten to sell him or her, because we will not be deferred, because I'm speaking true gospel. Have you heard? For so long we were lost asking what was the cost, swallowing down the lies with so much ease, choking on them. Now I can't breathe. While the world stands still like it did for Breonna Taylor. Let me tell you. But even they were struck down and killed, so stay on your toes like Gabby Douglas. Tell your stories like Frederick too. Don't Pharaoh still and let my people go. Their souls worn out like my Jordans too. I'm kidding. They can never crease or break my soul. So remember what Beyonce told you? Because the time is now and it's time to rise. Lord, I try. Let me testify. Well, we've already come up in this spot looking extra fly. Peaked at heaven, so no, we not just touch the sky. Our legacies are remembered, we will never die. Cause east side is my side, with my pride and my brothers that strive to reach goals with hands tied while they tried and tried. But like Sophia Danberg, we will climb, climb, climb. And that is why we will never die. Because like my mama told me, and like Michelle Obama once said, when they go low, we go high. And that is my answer to how. Because the time is now.
Thank you so much. That's one of our young people. Thank you. So, yeah, that inspired me this morning, and it will inspire me every day moving forward. Thank you again for that amazing poem. And with that, I'm going to hand it over for the invocation to Cantor Fred Sheff from Temple Shalom.
Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Oh, good. I will make my way to the microphone. As I prepared for this weekend in my synagogue and here, a thought came to me about a cooperation between Martin Luther King, not a cooperation, a friendship, a trust, a relationship, and Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, who died 52 years ago, 2 days ago, as we were celebrating together in my synagogue. There is a quote that came from the early 1800s, which is a paraphrasing of something that goes back a couple of thousand years. I didn't trace it back that far, but the quote is, "The whole world is a very narrow bridge." And the big deal, the thing is, we should not be afraid, ever. When we think about that bridge, the bridge may be narrow today, but when we work together, I'll bet you all didn't know that one of the widest bridges in the world is in downtown Providence. Right? You look at the old pictures, First Baptist Church and the State House right along the edge of the river. That's all a bridge now. Through cooperation, we are able to make that very narrow rope across a gorge a bridge across the city that's so big we don't even see it. So may our time together, as we spend remembering, guide us, prod us, and move us to doing the thing, not talking about it. Simple, we cannot defeat hate with hate. We can defeat hate by holding the door open, by buying somebody a cup of coffee, by giving somebody crying at a bus stop in Providence a hug. One act of kindness at a time. Just like you build a brick building, one brick at a time. Let us take the impetus, the drive, the energy, and the fearlessness of Dr. King and build on our actions through their words. In the name of God, Avinu Shabbat please give us the energy and the strength to go forward from this with renewed spirit and renewed energy to continue the dreams that all of us are created equal. And strive for that and never settle for anything less. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. We are honored to have you here as we strive to achieve liberty, equality, and of course, justice for all. The goals are obtainable, but we must work together in unified harmony to achieve Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King's dream. The road is long, the road is steep, with curve after curve. And from recent indications, the road has become longer and steeper. But we must keep working and praying that one glorious day his dream will come true. Today is visual evidence that as we sit here together in unified harmony, this is the American dream. But we must strive, no matter the obstacles, to make this a reality for everyone. And the dream will come true. Thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the NAACP Newport branch, we would like to acknowledge local and state dignitaries. Newport City Councilor Chair, Mayor Charlie Holder. Newport City Council Vice Chair, Lynn Segley. Newport City Councilor Zai Kamsi-Boravong. Newport City Councilor Jean Marie Napolitano. Representative Marvin Abney. Senator Uji Fusa. Former Senator Jim Seveny. Former School Committee Chair Joe Eva Gaines. Representative Terry Kortragan. Former Councilman Bill West. Former State Senator Bud Cicilline. Former Councilor Susan Taylor. Former Councilor Angela Lima. Former Councilor Colleen McGrath. And are there any other elected officials that I may have missed?
Right.
Oh, of course. Newport City Councilor, our first ward representative, Ellen Pinnock. Thank you.
The poem I'm just going to be reading today by Maya Angelou. You already know who she is. But why this poem I'm going to be reading, Still I Rise, I feel like it's one of my favorites. It sits with me a lot just because I feel like even though there's a lot of adversity that many people can face, even in my own life, when I try to advocate for myself or like others, and I get like reprimanded sometimes, I'm still gonna rise. Like, you know what I mean? And so will everyone else here. So I'm just gonna recite this here today, and then I have a song I'm gonna be singing for y'all. All right. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with glue? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides. Just like hopes springing high, still, I'll rise. Did you want me to seem broken? Bowed my head and lowered my eyes? Shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines, digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide. Welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Bless you both. And Trini, I will say that you are your grandma's wildest dreams. Thank you so much for sharing your gift and your talent with us. And this is what I mean when I talk about handing the microphone over to the young people, because they will move you further and faster than I ever could. So thank you again, both of you. It's going to be tough to follow that, but I'm going to try calling up Barbara Lisbon from the Armino P. Lisbon Scholarship, and there's a presentation there.
Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Lisbon, and as always, it's an honor to be here with my family, 3 generations of Lisbons, to award the Armino P. Lisbon Scholarship and celebrate Martin Luther King Day. And as we show our respect to the legacy of Dr. King, we're also, ironically, Donald Trump is being sworn in as president. So we know we've got a lot to do, and we have a lot to follow up, but we have a lot to difficult times ahead and dark times. And that's why we have to stay strong, we must participate, we must remain diligent, and that's why today's strategic theme, Mission Possible, protecting freedom, justice, and democracy, and the spirit of nonviolence 365 is so important.
Amen.
I know if my father at Lisbon was still with us, he would have embraced this theme. And that is why 24 years later, we still have the scholarship and we still award it every year. His unwavering commitment and dedication to the advancement of civil rights and equal opportunity for all, the scholarship was established in his name for students attending college and need additional assistance to further their education. Before I announce this year's recipient, I would like to recognize Victoria Johnson, as she has always been our constant and continued support and guidance. Victoria, thank you. I would also like to acknowledge the Newport County NAACP, especially Jimmy Winters, Thelma Williams, and Fern Lima. This year, my family and I are pleased to announce this year's recipient of the Armino P. Lisbon Scholarship is Jelani Jackson. Jelani is a first-year freshman at Hampton University with a 3.56 GPA. She has been very active in her community and is a graduate of Rogers High School. Jelena has returned to school, but her parents are here to represent her, Courtney and Robert Jackson. $2,250 to Jelena Jackson from the Armino P. Lisbon Scholarship Committee. And we wish her all the best. And this year, we also have an additional scholarship the NAACP branch is awarding. And this scholarship is going to the person that, the student that was, I guess you would say not in second, but had an equal great application for scholarships. And her name is Kayla Oliveira, and she is a freshman majoring in nursing at St. Alson's College in New Hampshire. And again, her GPA is 3.63. Again, another D list. So we'd like her to come up. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
These scholarships are wonderful, and it gives everyone an opportunity to achieve an education, which you really, really need in these days and times. Thank you. And thank you to the Lisbon family. And Mr. Lisbon, we go way back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again to the Lisbon family and the NAACP for continuously pouring into our young people. I do want to just take a second and recognize some folks in the room who maybe weren't on the list of dignitaries, but they're extremely important people in our community. Miss Victoria Johnson. Miss Fern Lima. Miss Pauline Moye. Miss Joeva Gaines, who was on the list. Mr. Jimmy Winters. And the Reverend Cynthia Smothers. And the reason why I think everyone knows the reasons why I'm recognizing them, but without them, we wouldn't be standing here, I wouldn't be standing up here. I am the third woman of color to serve on the Newport City Council ever. Yes. My predecessor, Angela McCallum, was the second one. So when I tell you every single day, I think about the people that I just mentioned because they paved the way for me. And I can't let a moment go without expressing my gratitude for everything. I can never even imagine everything that you endured while trying to fight for me in 2024 and now into 2025 to be able to do the things that I do. So from the depths of my heart, I just want to thank you very much. And now I'm going to cry, so I'm going to keep this moving. But everybody already knows I'm a bag of water, right?
Keep it up, baby girl.
All right, I'm going to keep going. I am going to bring up another young person, Diane Mitchell Sims, who has quite a bit to say and is going to introduce our guest speaker. Come on up, Diane.
Hi, I'm Naomi, and I'm going to be introducing Jonathan. So, Mr. Jonathan L. Lewis, aka Globe, is a senior level 3 trainer in Kenya Nonviolence. He served as a trainer with the Center of Nonviolence and Peace Studies at the University of Rhode Island from 1999 to 2010. He was appointed by Dr. Bernard Lafayette Jr. to serve on the International Global Conference Series from 2000 to 2004 as a youth representative. Dr. Lafayette Jr. introduced and trained Mr. Lewis in the philosophy and mythology of Kenyan nonviolence in the late 1990s and continues to mentor him to this day. Nationally, he was trained in Wisconsin, Washington, D.C., Florida, California, Maryland, Ohio, Mississippi, New York, Virginia, Tennessee, Rhode Island, Illinois, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Arkansas, Arizona, Alabama, Washington, New York, Washington, just to name a few. Long list. Internationally, he has been trained in Mexico, 2000, Colombia, 2001 and 2013, South Africa, 2000, Israel, 2006, and Nigeria, 2010. In 2007 to 2010, he served as a National Nonviolence Director, Direct Action Training Director for Harry Belafonte's Gathering for Justice.
All right.
Over the years, Mr. Lewis has exposed thousands of community leaders to the Kenyan nonviolence philosophy. Mr. Lewis started his professional career at the University of Rhode Island, where he received his nonviolence philosophy. Mr. Lewis started his professional career at the University of Rhode Island, where he received his undergraduate degree in Human Development and Family Studies, and started his graduate studies towards a master's in higher education administration. While enrolled in school, he held various positions in student-run organizations and leadership, and received many accolades for his community leadership. He was the founding hall director of a theme house focused on gender, environmental, and social justice issues. As a result of the work he has done, he has been given the opportunity to travel extensively, attending leadership, training, and to develop, design, implement, and facilitate programs in the restorative and criminal justice field, community-based organizations, nonprofit organizations, and institutions of higher learning through nonviolence philosophy. Most recently, he served Nonviolent Schools Rhode Island as a senior Kenyan nonviolence trainer and director of youth leadership training. Through this work, he has taught and mentored hundreds of youth in Rhode Island schools the strategies they can use to prevent conflicts from escalating, and also how to build the beloved community that Dr. King spoke about. Mr. Lewis served Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s organization, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, from 2013 to 2020. He currently holds the position of Director of Training for Nonviolent Schools Rhode Island. He recently published a chapter in a book titled The Chicago Freedom Movement. Mr. Lewis served a 3-year term as the lead trainer, coordinator, and leadership development specialist for the Positive Peace Warrior Network, PPWN. As an association whose members are engaged in the nonviolence and leadership/community development strategies, specifically in correctional institutions. Before working with PPWN, he also spent 2007 to 2010 as the National Director of Nonviolence, Direct Action, and Training for Belafonte's Gathering for Justice, a nonprofit that provided assessment, training, and capacity building to local and youth-focused organizations in 12 locations working to address the epidemic of youth incarceration. Mr. Lewis is now dedicated to institutionalizing Kenyan nonviolence throughout the state of Rhode Island. And in 6th grade, he trained me in level 1 nonviolence. I was in 6th grade, so 12. I did it with my mom. It was actually an all-adult thing, so technically I wasn't even really supposed to do it, but I just showed up on the Zoom meeting one day. I was like, oh, I see somebody I know. So I said hi, and they invited me to do it with them. So I was the youngest person to get a certificate as a level 1 nonviolent trainer. So thank you.
Our country is in a lot of changes going on. A lot of changes going on. And if, again, please, leave here with a desire to try to build a bridge, like this gentleman talked about. A bridge to the other side, because we have to come together. January 30th is the season for something. And it was a program started by Gandhi's grandson. It's called the Season for Nonviolence. It runs from January 30th, which is Gandhi's assassination, to April 4th, which was Dr. King's assassination. 64 days of direct action. Direct action not meaning protesting, but doing something in the name of the beloved community. Nonviolent Schools Rhode Island challenges each of you to join us during that season and do something on a regular basis. At the schools, we're working at Juanita Sanchez, Young Woods, and Roger Williams. That's a little complex. They're all right next to each other. And we have them building what we're calling the Kingian Corridor, if you will. Being that example for one another, doing something on a daily basis to try to bring about the changes we want to see. My friends, we want more, don't we? But do we have the courage to do more? Do we have the courage to speak the truth that needs to be spoken? And being ready for the losses that may come along with that. Because being the activist, it might be attractive from the outside. Oh, look at that person. But it's not an easy task. And the most important thing that you could do, or this group in this room could do, is to commit to one another to help each other through this process. How many people are under 18? If you're under 18, could you stand up, please? Yeah, sit down, my man. I feel you, though. No. 18-year-olds, please stand up again. I mean, under 18, please stand up again. Look around the room. Adults, please look at these young people. If you do not have a mentee, if you do not have a youth or someone you're out there supporting, please think of supporting these youth. They need your help. Lamont needs your help. I don't know if y'all noticed, I've been chopping up with Lamont since I got here. He showed a great interest in young leadership. Mm-hmm. And please, adults, we have to find a way to help these young ones. We have to. And I'm not saying, oh, you need to pull your pants up, or you need, don't approach the youth like that. Don't do that. That's just foolishness, because they don't like what you're wearing either. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. So.
And if you want to look around the room and judge someone for what they're wearing, you're losing. One of the most important things in the philosophy that we teach is suspend your first judgments. We can look around this room. You could have looked at me in a hoodie and say, oh, why did he dress up more? And your judgment, to me, shows a lack of intelligence on your side. I'm just saying. Because just because you got a suit on, don't mean you polished. Just mean you have some money in your pocket. I mean, and that's how the kids today see you. So please try to see past what they're wearing, the slang that they might use, and try to offer them what Dr. King has offered all of us, what Coretta Scott King had offered all of us, which is an unconditional love called agape. Now, one of the reason why I'm here is because I'm a part of an organization called Nonviolent Schools Rhode Island, and we are determined to try to equip every youth throughout the state with the skill and will of nonviolence. The skill can be found in Dr. King. Write this down. You're in class now, y'all. The letter from the Birmingham jail, if you have not read it, please do read it. Because in there it lines out his strategy. If you do not know about his values, please read The Pilgrimage to Nonviolence. Because in there he lists out why nonviolence is the most important thing to the survival and success of human beings on planet Earth. this quote that y'all have heard many, many times. Many times. That he, from, what's his most popular speech? Do y'all know his most popular speech? Somebody say it.
I have a dream.
I have a dream. And in that speech, who did he talk about that we always remember? The children. And in there he says, do not judge my children by what? Can we go by the color and the clothing, their identity? Can we make it a little bit more than just about color? Did not want children judged by their exterior, but wanted them to be appreciated for their interior, their character. Moving forward, this has to be the mark, because there's an overwhelming number of people who voted this gentleman into office. An overwhelming number of people voted this person into office, which means the only way for the beloved community to come alive or come to reality is for us to find a way to build bridges between the groups. That's it. We must have the courage necessary to have a clear vision and to be intelligent about the steps that we take and be willing to endure. There's a principle called accept suffering without retaliation for the sake of the cause to achieve the goal. That's the spirit in which we need to be moving. And to avoid internal violence of the spirit as well as external physical violence, because there are far more of us dying of suicide than of homicide. So when we're talking about Kingian nonviolence, we're not talking about the protesting. And Dr. Lafayette was once said, well, one of the greatest criticisms Dr. Lafayette has gotten over the years is nonviolence is for weak people who don't fight. The truth is that we're fighting internally that battle to try to bring forth our best in those moments of difficulty. Very, very often I find myself fighting back the urge to smack somebody. I'm not alone, I'm sure I'm not. Because I know that smack ain't gonna, whether it be a cuss word or a physical, I know it's not gonna achieve what I want. I know it's not gonna get me to where I wanna be. But I have to have the courage, like Dr. King had, like the civil rights workers of the past and present have had, to wear their values on their sleeves. Their values on their sleeves, not their emotions. The screaming, the temper tantrums, that's not going to get us to where we want to be. The shaming people is not going to get us to where we want to be. Seeing a white person as completely racist or a black person as completely compassionate, that's not going to help us get to where we want to be. Just because I look like you and you might look like me, we may not be. Let's suspend our first judgment and get to know each other. Sit down with Lamont. Sit down with an elder. Learn. And it takes more time than maybe we would like to. But today is the 39th year of this nation signing this holiday into action. And I think it's kind of interesting that it's also the same number of years that Dr. King has been, he was alive until his age 39. And here we are celebrating the 39th anniversary of this nation signing this into effect. The youth, thank you for your voices. Please, please don't lose your courage, because there's many of us that we get beat down, and it's sometimes hard. I really wish we had more time, because I'd like us to do some call and responses and some other things. But leaving here today, please remember that your vote counts, that your actions count, and that every single day, 365 must be your intention. Otherwise, stop complaining. Stop complaining. If you're not going to do it, don't criticize. If you're sitting at home hoping and wishing, that's cool. If you can't get there, help somebody else get there. It has to be all of us together. So, thank you very much for this time. I just would like to leave us again with that final quote, that I'd like my children judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I'd also like my president judged not by his past, but the potential goodness that may be within him. And we have to see that. We have to. And if you don't think he's the one, do you have the diligence to organize as hard as they did to get that position? Because pointing out their flaws is not what's going to raise you to a position of power. So if you don't like the way things are today, what are you going to start doing today to make sure that tomorrow or the next day is a little bit different? Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you again to Mr. Jonathan Lewis. Just want to remind everyone that his words were not just words, they were a call to action. And on this day that we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I want to remind you to get up and act. Next, I'm going to bring up Orlando Peace, our Vice President of the NAACP, and he's going to have some acknowledgments for us. Pete. Clap for Orlando.
I would like to say, give another hand for Mr. Lewis. And again, I'd like to acknowledge all of our young people here today, especially our Naacp students. Can we have a round of applause for them? Also for each and every one of our seniors here, because that is one of our ways for our young people to move forward, is to learn some of the lessons from our seniors. Okay, so get a chance to talk to one of these seniors, please. Okay? Because you never know where you're going until you know where you came from. That's right. All right? And I learned a lot from a lot of these people in the room, as an example. And I'm an old dude. And I'm still learning. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you for showing up, each and every one of our dignitaries as well. Okay, so today's the day that we can start to do our work. It's not doomsday, it's not the end of the world, we just have another president. So let's go out and let's do our work. And we can only do it by looking around the room. Look around the room, and in this room I see a lot of hope. And a lot of change can be made within this room. You just have to be willing to do the work. And if you don't know how, just ask. Come and see us at the NAACP, please. So, again, please, get an application, fill it out, and join us with the work, especially our young people. You know, you're right next door to us. Okay, this is your first step. So continue to work. All right, thank you everyone for coming out.
Last but not least, we're going to have our benediction from our cantor again, Fred Chef. But before that, I do want to once again implore you, as Mr. Ray Gaines just reminded me of Michelle Obama's words, to get up and do something. Cantor, Fred, it's all yours.
Thank you. First, before I go to the benediction, I was gobsmacked to be invited to be part of this from this point of view. There are two things I want to share with you in our benediction. I heard tell of people thinking how long it's been. I'm going to go back to King David and before that to a benediction that we know is at least 2,500 years old. It's been found in print in the desert. And you all know this. So I'll do the Hebrew, and I'm sure my minister friends will jump on in with the English, and we'll all do this together. But the first thing is, the word shalom means peace. But the root system, shin lamed mem, is peace. It's complete. It's finished. It's done. So when we say shalom, true shalom, as Jeremiah says, seek shalom and pursue it. Seek peace and pursue it. He's not talking about a ceasefire. He's talking about understanding, cooperation, and community. Verse from David's Psalm, one of the last lines of one of the Psalms, Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, which translates roughly to God gives strength to his people. God gives peace to his people everywhere. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. The second one, Reverend Riley, you're going to help me with this because you were talking about your Hebrew. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. And I leave you with the last part of this blessing. Yifta Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God cause his face to shine upon you and give you peace. And let us all say, Amen.
Thank you so much. And just a quick reminder before we do leave, 3 p.m. program, Martin Luther King Center. It's history, trivia, photos, video activities, snacks for the whole family. Worship service at the Salvation Army is this evening, 5:30. With Captains Chris and Kylie Williams, and the guest speaker is Major Stephen Lopes. Again, I thank you very much for coming out today and actually doing something, because I know it was difficult for a lot of us to get out and shovel and do all the things to get here. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you.